All right, how's it going, everybody? I just saw something a couple minutes ago that made me think, and it's like I need to mention this on the podcast. So last week, I was driving around in San Antonio, Texas, and I saw this homeless guy drawing like. You see the comment like the homeless guy's on the corner begging for money and all that stuff, and I feel sorry for the veterans that are homeless. I don't feel as sorry for the young, strong men that are able to, even middle-aged men that are capable or appear, and that's a key word, appear to be capable of working. And I know it is very hard nowadays, not as hard as it used to be, but it's still hard. Okay, things are still expensive. But if you don't have a job at all and you've chosen to live on the street, I will not give money to you. I donate to my church and every so often nonprofits and even homeless nonprofits. And I might buy a meal for a homeless guy. I did that once, got ripped off. He ordered everything he can, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do this again, at least not for a while. But he definitely chowed down that meal. But let's get back to the point. I'm driving around in Houston. Last week, I came around the same corner. Homeless guy wasn't there, but what I saw him doing last week was he wasn't begging. He had some chalk, some colored chalk, and he was drawing on the ground. And I could see what he's been doing, and he's been doing it he was working on that art, okay, because it was art, for a while. He had a huge chunk done. And today, just a couple minutes ago, I came around the same area, and the chalk art is still there. But there's a saying on the ground that I didn't see before that I saw today. And it said, "I'm not invisible." And it kind of hit me. I felt like that. I felt that I'm invisible. I mean, on YouTube I have 5 subscribers to this channel and a few more on my other ones. But it's like, God, I'm invisible to the people that I'm trying to help out, the people that I'm trying to reach. And I could go down the conspiracy theory that people are trying to stop me or some. It's like, I don't know. The algorithm is out to get me. I want to give YouTube the benefit of the doubt, especially anyway. But I get a little bit of what this guy is thinking, a little bit, because fortunately, by God's grace, I'm not homeless. But there have been times in my life that if one thing went wrong, if my car broke down, something happened, I wouldn't be able to afford it, and I'm like a couple $100 away from losing the apartment and just being homeless. I've been close. And whenever I come around corners and I see homeless people and they walk right by my car, I try to ignore them. I don't try to look at them because it's like I'm I'm not even making it, and you want me to give you money. There and there are shelters. There are ways to get out of the stuck position if they choose to ask for help. But they've chosen not to. Either I don't know why. Drugs. They're just living the hippie lifestyle of free, no responsibilities, living off the kind people that live around him. And I've heard stories of rich guys that just want to do something different and get a little, so they actually dress up as a bum, get a something to put money into, and beg. And then when their shift is over, they go around the corner and get in their Mercedes and drive home to their mansion. This was back in California. And then you have the veterans that can't really keep down a job. The meds aren't doing anything, or it gets them even worse. They can't afford an apartment or even a house. They can't hold down a job. They're the ones that actually would want to help. But there are things that are even available to them that would help them, but they're either don't know about it or haven't actually done the work necessary, the paperwork and all that stuff at the VA or whatever, to get out of the situation they're in. And I want to say that that's the case for most of them, but it's not. And these homeless guys I can see that they are, to them, to the people that are driving around them, they're invisible. And I'm telling you, they're not. They're not invisible. I see them, and it hurts me to see them, especially the ones that have military tattoos or military pants or jacket or whatever. They're definitely not invisible, and I wish they could get the help they need. And the ones that have chosen the life of the homeless bum, they are capable of doing work. They need to get a job. They need to get off the street. That's all I'm going to say about that. But when I saw this piece of art, I'm not invisible. So many people throughout society nowadays feel that they are, that not even the homeless ones. I'm including every single person, man and woman, boys and girls. They feel invisible. And I was wondering, after I saw that piece of art, street art, is that homeless person doing the work necessary to be visible? He left a piece of art that touched my heart. And if he's able to do that, he has a talent that can, for some, make a lot of money. But he's homeless. I don't know him, don't know his background. Like, I'm an artist, more of a digital artist, and I probably wouldn't have thought of doing that. I'm not really a chalk or a street artist. I've done more colored pencil, paint, and digital art, photography. But this homeless guy has talent. And is he just like no one's actually saw that talent, or they belittled him and said he wasn't good enough to be anything, or his art was terrible? They were wrong. This was pretty decent. But to be able to do that and then say those words, "I'm not invisible," he should be able. He should be. This me not knowing his background or anything. But you would think that he would be capable of so much more than just begging on the street if he could do that kind of art. In San Antonio, in the heat, it's 88 degrees right now in October. All right? And last week it was in the 90s when I was here and saw that. So if you could do that in the heat and humidity, what could you do in a cool, relaxed room with some paint and a blank canvas? Now, when I do art, when I write, when I work on my music and all that, I have to be relaxed. I can't be upset, tensed. No, I have to be relaxed. Okay? And most of the time, I get to myself to that point so I can actually think and create. Okay? This guy was doing it with all the burden of being homeless. This guy was doing it with all the burden of being hungry. And he was able to create something pretty decent. Okay? It was no Van Gogh or anything, but let's see what Van Gogh has in 95, 100 degree heat with humidity. Let's see what he does then with just a chalk and a 10 by 20 piece of concrete. Okay? And when I saw him last week drawing it, I'm like, how stupid can you be? Okay? That's not your property. That's a walkway. And in a day or two, people are going to be, the city is going to pressure wash that away. It's just a waste of time. And it wasn't. And I take those words back. Because I wonder what he's doing now. Was he trying to send a message? Like a last call for help or something? See, we're coming from a suicide attempt and surviving that. No one in my family knew that I was going through that because I didn't let them know. And I didn't want to pass on my pain to them, especially my parents. They raised me. They did a great job raising me. It was never their fault. I've blessed with an outstanding family. It's just all the stuff that happened outside of that, life-wise, that led me up to that point. And there was a few podcasts that I talked about in the past. I tell you about the whole story. Go to the beginning, listen to everything, okay? And you'll learn about that. But coming from that, having felt invisible, and feel that way, know that I'm not, and just go throughout life feeling useless and having no source to talk to other than God, which in most cases, I want to say all, but hello, it's not all. In most cases, God just would fill that role and prayer. But people, and being a loner, it's hard for me to say this, but people need people. Okay? I love wolves, and obviously if you're watching this, you see a little, well, not little, he's pretty big. You see a wolf talking to you. And I love wolves. I love the wolf pack and the wolf, how they work together. And the most important thing to the wolf is the wolf pack. It's their family. Wolves need a wolf pack. And when there's a lone wolf, that is what other than food, that's what he's looking for. He's looking for a mate to create his own family, his own pack. And that's how wolf packs are created. Two lone wolves meet and they they start a family. And there are a bunch of TikToks and YouTube videos and social media posts of people claiming to be lonely and invisible, and no one sees them. They don't have any friends. They don't have anyone to talk to. Well, they're making this clip alone in their car, alone in their room. And my challenge to them and to you, if you feel the same ways, you have to do your part. Okay? You have to get out there, and if I really wouldn't recommend a club unless you actually have someone to go with you, or a bar, but coffee shops. There should be, or churches, little soccer fitness clubs, or the gym. There are people out there that feel the same way you do, and you need to train yourself to identify the right moment, because if they're listening to music or whatever, they have earpods in their ears, they obviously don't want to be interrupted. But if they don't, or you take them out, it's like, and you want to start a conversation with the same gender. Okay? Guys, coming from where you are right now, don't immediately go talk to the pretty girl or your gym crush. Okay? Talk to the guy that you've seen a couple times, or build up to that. Okay? You're brand new. You're not. You're nervous. You very little social confidence. I'm not saying you are not confident, but I'm saying that it's difficult to speak to people you don't know. And having been there, I will tell you how I grew from that. Okay? I was a police explorer when I was in my teens. Okay? And that got me out of my shell. Okay? And taught me how to be a leader. Revealed the leader that was already in me. Gave me opportunities to lead, and I took them. And I listened to advice of my senior explorers and even the brand new explorers, and I was eventually the explorer in charge. So I had about 35 explorers that I was not, I don't like saying in charge of. No, it was my responsibility to teach them everything I knew about law enforcement and create the best, we call them meetings, teach them the best topic that they can learn that could possibly save their life, introduce them to officers that were in the Simi Valley Police Department. Points to you guys. Okay? Outstanding police department, outstanding police officers. I had outstanding, I think we called them advisors, and they pretty much oversaw the Explorer program. And they took us on ride-alongs, and due to injuries, I was unable to go toward that career. My goal was military, federal, or law enforcement. But I was injured, and that eventually, anyway, I'll talk about it in my previous podcasts. But how I started going from not talking to anybody to standing in front of 35 explorers and teaching them the topic, or doing the briefing and then having the officer tell them, teach, and then eventually teaching a Sunday school class, and then eventually substitute teaching. So now I can be in front of a classroom teaching from math, science, history, or whatever, from kindergarten through 12th grade. That is how much I've grown. And that is not going to happen overnight. But I know right now I am not invisible. And that took a lot of work, and I had to build my confidence. And I've always had confidence in my capabilities. Even though I'm not in the position to tactfully clear the room of suspects and combatants, I am capable and competent and confident in doing so and in teaching it. Okay? But you can do that and be afraid to stand up in front of a room full of people. Okay? I heard this one quote from a veteran, that he would rather see a platoon size of Taliban, and he would rather face them in a firefight than talk to a woman. And having not ever faced a platoon size element, but of Taliban, and actually confronted them, it's like, I can see your point, but I have not been there, so I cannot fully see that. Who knows? I might. Anyway, but I can definitely see the nervousness of talking to women that you don't know, that you think are attractive, and then I got to the point of, who cares? Okay, the worst thing they can do at that time was say no, I'm not interested. Okay? And that happens to every guy. But nowadays, they could have their phone out in like seconds, hit the record button, and suddenly you're live on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, and she's embarrassing you, and that thing goes viral, and okay? Or you can get arrested for harassment, even though you just said, "Hi, my name is John," or "Hi," say your name, or you say your name, and it's like whatever mood she's in, or you could say the exact same thing, I can't talk today, the exact same greeting or pickup line or whatever, and because she doesn't find you attractive, you can either get you can be a part of a viral post on social media and get embarrassed that way. You can get arrested. We don't know, okay? Because a guy who she is attractive to can say the same exact words and can get a date out of it. Okay? You hear the posts of women saying, "Where are all the men? Where are all the men?" And in dating, the average guy below 6 feet and who makes less than 100K, they are invisible. Okay? Because these women that say, "We're all the good," cannot talk today, man. We're all the good guys, and the women say, or we're all the good guys, and they're literally surrounded by good guys. It's just take off your blinders. Poof, there's a guy, makes 65, he's 5'9", and he'll love you for who you are. There's another guy, he's 5'11", okay, makes 70K a year, and he'll love you for who you are. All right? She keeps looking around. There are more and more good men. It's like there are millions of good men. Women just don't want them because they don't fit their little must-haves. And those must-haves are literally love me, protect me, provide for me. Don't be me. And if she's a Christian, love God as number one and family second. Okay? And then provide, protect, and all that. Be a good leader. That should be it. But I'll stick to the Christian women because these are the ones that I know a few of these. All right? And the man that they are looking for is literally Christ's twin. Okay? He has to be the perfect at everything. He has to be tall, handsome. He has to be a leader in the church. He has to make a lot of money, even though true, real churches, pastors don't make that much. They don't make the millions. But the rest of these guys, the good men, they are invisible. And let's get back to this homeless guy's piece of art. I hope more and more people see that and agree to what he said. I'm not invisible. I hope he's doing okay. I wish the best for him. I hope he actually gets a job and gets out of his current place where he's in life. And I want, those who feel invisible must do the work to get them to be visible. Some of that is work on your confidence, okay? Work on getting to know each other. And this is what you can start out as, okay? When I go to the gym, when I go shopping, whenever I'm out in public, okay? If someone's walking up right behind me, I don't care who it is. Man, woman, child, elderly, pregnant, whatever. I open the door and let them in, okay? In the olden days, I used to do, you're a lady, I will open the door. No, because I've been yelled at by more women, I'm not even going to call them ladies, more women for just opening the door for them. I don't need no effing man, I can open my own damn door. And this is just me walking out the door, they're coming my way, and I guess they were just having a bad day or what. But I make that a practice, and then I hate smiling. I think most smiles are facades, they're fake, because a smile is supposed to reveal that you're happy. But I nod or acknowledge their presence. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever. So I am actually completing a action, a greeting to a complete stranger. Okay? Start doing that. No one's going to get mad at you for saying good morning as you walk by, good afternoon, opening the door, And when they open the door for you, when someone opens the door for you, you say thank you. You say thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am. So by doing just this, okay, you are now speaking to someone, you are hearing yourself speaking to someone, and you're seeing the reaction of the people, which in most cases, other than the few Karens that I've come across that have gotten mad at me for opening the door for them, in most cases, the women will say thank you, and the men will say, some men will actually be surprised and like, thank you, sir. They'll be grateful. Okay, I've gotten more thank yous from men that I've opened the door for than I have from women, and that's sad. Okay, because I've opened the door for far more women than I have for men. Just by chance. Okay, so they're behind me. I open the door for them, like I would for anybody. More than men would be grateful, or at least share their gratitude. But to practice speaking to people you don't know, just do that. Do that for about a week, okay? Your normal outings to the supermarket, the grocery store, the gym, start doing that. And if you're not going to the gym, start going to the gym, okay? There are places that have the monthly subscription fee is like $10, okay? Start going to the gym. No one cares that. This is the one place where fat people are welcome, all right? So if you're fat, go to the gym, okay? Work out 6 months, guess what? You're not going to be as fat, okay? Change your diet, do the appropriate things necessary to lose the weight if that's... There are some fat people that don't care that they're fat, and they're some of the most communicative and outgoing people I've ever known. I don't know how they do it, but I'm losing weight. I'm in my process of getting to my fitness level, and I have weights at home. So once I actually meet that fitness level for me personally, with my home weights, then I'm going to actually start going to the gym. So although I am not currently practicing what I'm preaching, I am to the point where I can anyway, my confidence and competence level is a lot higher than those that I'm recommending this to, okay? If you understood that, let's get going. So, just being seen, being willing to be seen by the public is a step in the right direction, okay? And then as you're walking by, acknowledge people's presence, okay? Don't just like be one of those little, you know those things you put in the car, and whenever you go over a bump, their head kind of tilts back and forth. I forget what they're called, but you're not like nodding to everybody you see, all right? You're not saying hi to every single one. But if you meet eyes with someone, like, hey, how's it going? Good morning, good afternoon. And yes, I have done a good morning when it's 6 p.m., okay? And in the evening. Because I'm just used to saying something, and most of the time when I'm out or doing errands, it's in the morning. And when I have had trouble, like I've already said it today, when I'm trying to say something and I mess up my words, I say, I can't talk today, sorry. And then I try again, a little slower and a little more emphasis on my words, okay? And whenever I say that in front of people, they always chuckle and say, no problem, or we all do that. So knowing when more and more people have said that, they've laughed, not at me, but more with me, and they've chuckled and it's like, oh, I've had more and more people say that. We all do that. So having that reassurance, like, hey, I'm not the only one with this problem. which it's not even a problem. It's just a obstacle that you need to overcome. Look up Chuck Swindoll. Okay, he's one of the best. I have two favorite pastors. He's one of them. Okay, and when he'll tell you stories about when he was a kid that he had a speech impediment. You wouldn't know. You would never know that hearing him speak today. He's had a whole career speaking in front of hundreds, if not thousands, of people, and on his radio program. You would never know that when he was a kid he had a speech impediment. And one of the teachers that actually mentored him and helped him out as a kid, taught him how to overcome that obstacle. And if there are obstacles like that with a speech impediment or something like that, find help, okay? Even if it's just all you do is go onto YouTube and say, how to speak clearly with the speech impediment, or how to do certain things, because that is a start, okay? You got to complete these baby steps before you can actually start climbing the mountain, okay? And going over those boulders, all right? Even I'm trying to work on my ums, okay? If you're listening to me in this podcast and other podcasts, and you hear a pause, that's me trying not to say all right? So even I am still learning, because you're not supposed to say yeah, or yeah. The Kardashians are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, even though that made it famous, especially with those Valley girls, okay? I'm not even going to try to imitate it, because it is so irritating, all right? So, to be visible, you have to do the work necessary to be visible, okay? You can't just stay at home in your safe place. You are invisible, okay? In your home, no one from outside will see you. You have to go outside to be seen, okay? You have to be in a place that welcomes strangers becoming friends, okay? Where I mentioned a few places, okay? You can go to church, not only learn about God, get saved and all that, get your for sure spot in heaven, but you can meet a few friends, okay? But most, see, I did it again. Most churches, no ums. Most churches have, in the beginning, a meet and greet and all that stuff, okay? You shake hands, you say, hi, I'm John. I don't know why that feels like a Alcoholics Anonymous thing, but it kind of does. But it shouldn't, okay? They're shaking. It's your first time meeting them. It's their first time meeting you, and it could blossom into an actual friendship. Okay, you sit in the same seat week by week, and most churchgoers have a certain favorite spot that they sit in every single week, and hopefully you're not sitting in that place. But it's a great way to meet people. All right. The gym, I've already said that, but consistently go there at the same time, and you will notice that there's people around you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, whatever days you choose. Go there consistently at the same times, okay? And you'll start noticing people that also go there at the same times. And follow the circuit, the weight machine circuit, okay? See who else are doing the same thing. Okay? And you're not staring, but you're aware of what's going on around you. Okay? You're not being rude. You're being polite and all that stuff. You clean up your sweat mess and all that. But you need to be someone that is, and I have to be careful in saying this, and I'll explain it afterwards, but you have to be attractive enough to get to know. Okay, if you dress and smell like a slob, no one's going to want to get to know you. But if you dress professionally for that, I'm saying it again, that area, that location, okay? I don't like all the, come on, ladies, stop wearing leotards and those skin-tight pants at gyms that leave nothing to the imagination. I mean, how would you like men to start wearing those? And literally, you will see everything, okay? Just like we see everything, and you're telling us not to look. Well, we're visual guys, all right? It's kind of difficult. Anyway, dress appropriately for the gym, all right? You don't have to be the best looking. You don't have to just dress. You're not in a suit and tie. You're not in jeans. You're not in the normal, everyday shorts. You're in sports shorts, tennis shoes, and a decent workout shirt, okay? Or a hoodie. I prefer hoodies, okay? So you're not someone that people will walk around, okay? They already do that enough. I did it again. Dress appropriately, and if you need to, spend a couple bucks in getting the right clothing and attire for the gym. And as you go there consistently and you're doing your circuit, okay? And what I mean by circuit is most gyms have a row of workout machines, weight machines, that will work a certain body part, the upper body, lower body, abs, all that stuff, okay? Legs, all that stuff. And they have a circuit for upper body, a circuit for, like, one after another that you would complete, okay? Find out you can see who's doing those as you're doing them, okay? And do not be afraid to ask. It's like, hey, I've only been here a couple times. I don't really know the equipment. I have a problem with this, or could you tell me what this is? Or tell me how to set this up, okay? And you might actually find out that, hey, they've only been there a couple times too, but they've worked that machine before and they can help you out, okay? You have to overcome the fear of asking questions, and you have to be smart enough to ask the right questions, okay? You don't go up to a girl or a guy and say, in the gym, say, hey, how's the weather? How's the surfing? We're inside and we're miles away from the beach, okay? Or, hey, did you see the game on Friday? Well, what game? Are they even into sports? You got to talk about topics that both of you, even though you don't know each other, would pick a topic you would assume they would know regarding the gym. It's like, hey, you just saw him get off that machine. You can ask him how to set the settings on that machine. Okay? They obviously know that. But you have to be capable of thinking about the words to say and being brave enough to say them. Okay? And guess what? You ask that person how to work that machine, you are no longer invisible to that person. They don't have to love you, they don't have to hate you, but they will look you in the eyes and say, yeah, you just pull that thing out, you push the little button, pull it out, and then pick and choose whatever weight level you want, slide it in there, make sure it's locked in, and go at it. All right? If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be over here. That is what I've been told. That is what I've told other people. All right? In my, before I moved the gym that I worked out, I got to know not a lot, because I don't need a lot of people. I personally prefer a small group of close, trusted friends, and then my family. Okay? And then the rare one or two people that you can promote from friend to family. Okay? I don't need a crowd to get their attention and be the center of attention. I don't need that. Some people do, I don't. But find out what you like and what you don't like. Okay? And introduce yourself to the public in a respectful manner. And that it will be one person, and then you'll introduce yourself to the next person, and the next person. And then in a couple months, you will have people saying hi to you. Okay? I don't care if you're 300 pounds, you finally build up the bravery to go to the gym, and people have seen you arrive to the gym, work out, do your time, leave. You're polite to the people around you. You might be 300 pounds, but guess what? In 6 months, you're doing it consistently, you're eating better, you're down to 250, okay? And they see all the work that you've done. And it's been a year, and you've gotten to know a few people, and you came in kind of shy, but now after a year, people are saying hi to you, you're saying hi to other people, and you've lost 75 to 100 pounds, okay? More and more people, there are people out there that just study people and look at people, okay? And although you might feel invisible, you're not, all right? There have been far more times that I felt invisible. I tried to overcome that, introduce myself to people. And it's like, oh yeah, I've seen you before. Oh yeah. I was a barista. I think the feminine is barista, but I was a coffee bartender, okay? And that was another way to get me out of my shell, okay? I actually worked at a place where people come to you, and you make good coffee, and people come back to you again and again, and they get to know your name, and they start talking to you. I had this one guy, he was a professor at the local college, I think. I said it again. Stop saying ums. Anyway, he would come every single night and have his coffee and read his book at the bar. And it's a small bar, like with 3 chairs, and then the cash register and little cookie area. And he would either read his book quietly for like 5 minutes, he would put it down and talk to who was around him, okay? And there have been times where I was the one that was around him waiting for customers. And we started having conversations. He was easy to talk to. And that's something I recommend that you need to do. You need to be easy to talk to, okay? Coming with a background from being shy and not talking to anybody to being capable of talking to anybody, especially to those who initiate a conversation. I am actually grateful for those guys. It's like, I remember, I'll tell that later. Let's stick with this professor guy. He was easy to talk to. He asked the right questions. Like, what do you like to do, John? Seriously? You want to know what I like to do? Okay, I like to airsoft. I like to paintball. I like art. I like history. I'm majoring in this at college. Oh, really? And then he would base his responses off the answers that were given. And that is a technique I recommend that you take and go with. Okay, I'm passing on the baton to you. You ask other people what they're interested in, and you ask the right questions to follow up with genuine interest. Okay? I've had way too many people fake their interest, and you can tell it's a waste of time to them. They don't care. But I don't have to care about the topic, but I care about the person. Okay? I could care less about the ballet. All right? But if I meet this ballet dancer and we're talking about it, her show or whatever, I know a little bit about the training that has gone into her talent and all the work that she's done to get to the point where she is. I can respect that. And when you can add respect to someone's work or the topic that they're talking about, it's like, I don't know much about it, but I know a little about it, and I respect you for doing that just with the little that I know. You will open doors like you never knew. All right. Again, doing the work necessary to become visible is all in your hands. Okay? Those of you who are praying, God, help me to meet people. God, help me to meet people. Help me to get friends and get married, get a girlfriend, get a boyfriend, all that stuff. Okay? You have to be in the position, you have to put yourself in that position to meet those people. All right? You have to meet that. For Sarah to meet Joe, Sarah has to be where Joe is. And for Joe to meet Sarah, Joe has to be where Sarah is. All right? So, if you go to the gym or go to church or go to the bookstore, the coffee shop, the people that are around you, in most cases, like that type of environment. All right? People at the coffee shop, in most cases, like coffee. All right? People at the bookstore, especially the ones that actually read at the bookstore, like books. Okay? People at the gym, either by the tell of their build or what level they're at, they are comfortable and probably like the gym. So you not only have to go to that location, but you also have to inform yourself of what that location is. Okay? If you like reading and you go to a bookstore and you start, a lot of bookstores nowadays have coffee shops, and some people just find a book they like, read a little bit, buy some coffee, read some more, and then feel like the book, they buy it. Get to know some authors. Know your favorite authors. Know their names. Know their books. So if you actually start a conversation with someone at the bookstore and someone asks, who's your favorite author? You'll know that. This is my favorite author, Louis L'Amour. Okay? He's my favorite author. Second favorite author, Tom Clancy. Third favorite author, me. Check out my book. Links will be below. I had to throw that in. All right? If you like coffee, get to inform yourself about coffee. My boss, when I worked at the coffee shop, he knew the history of coffee. He knew how it was brewed. He knew where the coffee came from. He knew the whole brewing process. Look up cold brew. That's what we use, the toddy stuff. He knew everything about that. Pete. His name was Pete. Great guy. I miss him a lot. He was a talker. He had no problem with talking people's heads off, but, and I learned this from him, he always remembered the customers that would always come back, the repeat offenders, okay, but for coffee. He would memorize their name, memorize their drink, and in most cases, remember the conversation for a few of them that they were having. Okay? So the last time they came in, they were talking about this. So he would not only, he's like, oh, let me get your latte, your mocha, your whatever. All the names have changed. It's like, come on. But it's all the same drink. So anyway. So I would see him. I'm working with another customer. He would come around from the back, see a customer he recognizes. That's in most cases next, because he was always polite. He's like, oh, you still want the, and then mention the drink. He's like, yeah. All right, coming up. He works on the drink. So by the time I'm finished with my customer, they pay and leave. He has their drink ready and is ready to cash them out or check, have them pay for the drink. Okay. And he asks the question, hey, how was that? How was the football game that you went to? Or how was your kid's recital? Or hey, how was that test? How'd you do on that test? He would remember what they talked about and ask them about that. That is another way to that is another way to invest in people's lives. And when you invest in people's lives, in some cases, they will invest back. And when I say invest, I'm not saying they're going to throw money at you, but they will take their time, which is expensive, and give it to you. Okay? And Pete made tons of friends this way. Okay? I don't know if it was a way to help him with his shyness, but if it was, it really worked because he got out of his shyness. I don't even know if he was shy. I do believe he mentioned he was a little shy when he was younger. But you wouldn't even see that to the way he would interact with people. He was also majoring in I forget the major, what it was called, but it studied the human way of life. It wasn't psychology, but it had some of that in there. Okay. And it studied how certain communities developed and grew. So he used that and applied that to his conversations with people and the questions that he would ask. They were always the right question in most cases. He had a little humorous side of them, I would say. And if you got it, you got it. If you didn't, you didn't. But anyway, and everybody's going to have that side of them. Okay? They're going to have, everybody has some like quirkiness. Okay? Get used to that because you have your own quirkiness too. All right? And don't be afraid to mess up your speech. Okay? I did it in this podcast. Right after I did it, it's like, I can't talk today. And that comes natural because the first few times that I've done it, I've gotten a few laughs and it's like, oh, no worries, I've done it. I do that too. And that reassures me. It's like, okay, I'm not a huge embarrassment and like stupid idiot that I thought I was. All right? You have to acknowledge that you are not a stupid idiot. You are not useless. You are not a piece of shit. You are not invisible. All right? Nowadays, people have to use the right words and use the right context. Okay? A lot of people use words, ask questions, and the people around them have no idea what they're talking about. That's because the guy who asked that question or said that saying doesn't know where they are, what the people around them are doing. And those people have a lot of work to do. But first they need to start caring about other people. What I hate it when people walk into a public area and they're on their Bluetooth headset, okay? And they're all talking very loudly. So you can be on the other side of the room and hear them clearly. And they're all laughing and joking around and all that stuff. And that by itself is not bad. I wish everybody should be able to laugh and joke and all that stuff. But when they're not considerate to those around them, they're being rude. And with everything that's going on today, I have no problem with people calling out rudeness. Like, hey, could you tone it down? You're being rude. Because it is rude. Sharing your conversation with the whole place, expecting them to be quiet so you can be loud and obnoxious, is rude. It needs to be called out. It needs to be stopped. Go down, and you're probably blaring out the guy's or the person's ear that you're talking to. I mean, turn your volume up, lower your vocal volume, speak in a normal tone, loud enough for them to hear you, for the person on the phone to hear you, but not loud enough for the person that's standing 10 feet to hear you, 10 feet away to hear you. Because frankly, they don't need to know. I don't need to know what you're talking about. The whole room doesn't know about your joking around with Billy. All right? And if Billy has a hearing problem, go outside, so find a better spot to speak louder and have your conversation. Just respect those around you. That is not a way to become visible. That is actually a bad way to become visible because everybody sees you. And you don't want everybody talking. Like, they don't want to get to know that person. All right? If that person comes up and asks them a question, it's like, go away. You're rude. And if someone is identified as rude, that identifies their whole self as being rude. And that could mess up so many good friendships. So stop being rude. Because people don't want to be around rude people. Rude people don't even want to be around rude people, yet they're being rude. It's weird. Let's go and end it there. And I just want to remind you that you are not invisible. That being said, you need to do the work necessary to be visible, and especially to the ones that you want to be visible to. Okay, you have that gym crush, you want to talk to her, but you're nervous. Build up your confidence by talking to other people. Men and women that you don't find as attractive or in that same way. Okay? This doesn't mean you become friends with all the ugly girls. Yet that is, I'm not trying to be mean, but talking to women that you're not intimately attractive to might help you to talk to the type of girl that you are attracted to. Okay? But you have to do the work. You can expect God to do everything. God has given you a car, a bicycle, a scooter, whatever, a gym, a church. So He's given you transportation, locations to go to, and a job to pay for it. Okay? Because if it's coffee, it's a gym, all these it takes money. So you need to invest in yourself, okay? So go do that. All right. Thank you very much for listening. Like, comment, let me know if you're struggling, how you're struggling, and if this has helped you. I hope it has. Subscribe, definitely. I have 5 subscribers right now, 2 of which are family members. So I'm grateful for that. Grateful for the other subscribers. But don't be the obstacle. Don't be your own obstacle that's blocking the life that you could have. All right? So get to work. All right, I'll talk to you later, okay?